On this edition of Boski's Favorite Things, let's talk about condoms. Believe it or not, in high school, I was pretty uneducated when it came to condoms. All they taught us in sex ed was, don't use the lambskin ones, they don't protect against STDs. Make sure they're latex. Eventually, I figured out that there's more than one type of condom. Ribbed for her pleasure, what about my pleasure? This guy has a lot of competition in the market. You got your lubricated spermicidal lubricant, and you have a bigger size. I was not aware of this, and it really was a game changer for me personally. Shout out to Trojan for accommodating men of all types and sizes. Now you know, practice safe sex, it's worth it. Only bad things can happen. STDs, pregnancy, 18 years of pain and suffering, wrap it up.
Wrap that shit up, B.
And this concludes the Boski tip of the day. Raise Your Edge is having its biggest sale ever. Now is the time to sign up. Use the codes on the screen to get the biggest discounts ever. Take your game to the next level and sign up on Raise Your Edge today. The Wynn / Encore $230 rebuy. Every Saturday at noon, late reg till 4:20, blaze it.
This is like the apex of the vortex of joint engineering.
It's almost 3 o'clock. We're gonna get 15,000 in starting chips, optional 7,500 chip add-on for $100 at any time before rebuy is over, and rebuys are $200 at the table. Love that. No one wants to have to go to a different table and go to the cage. Feel really at home at the Wynn, expecting about 150 players, about 15,000 for first. It's gonna be around 3 a.m. when this happens. Hopefully I'll see you guys at 3 a.m. Let's get it. With blinds at 200, 400, we have our 15,000 starting stack. Third hand dealt, we're in middle position with pocket kings. King of diamonds, king of spades. Beautiful hand. Guy on my right, open limps for 400. It's on me, so I make it 1,500. The button smooth calls and the limper calls. 3 ways to a flop, no ace please. The flop comes 10, 8, 4. 2 hearts, 1 diamond, so we don't block any of their flush draws for the hearts, so that's good. Let's bet big, target all 10x, straight draws, and flush draw combos. I bet 4,000, setting up a turn jam, button folds, and limper calls. You could be trapping us with a set. The turn is a 7. Jack 9 gets there, he checks to us, we have 9,500 behind. And it's no limit, baby. We're all in for value. He goes into the tank. We're hoping for a call. We want to get that full double. He eventually does put in the call and shows ace 8 of clubs. And the river is an ace of diamonds. Nice hand, sir. Good read. You got us good. And we rebuy for $200. With blinds at 200, 400, I have pocket 7s under the gun. I've won a few small pots. We put in the limp, a real live pro strategy with our 20K stack. Middle position limps and button makes it 1,600 with 6,500 behind. Folds back to us. I thought he had more behind. We could probably just flat and set mine, try to take this 3 ways. But since we limped under the gun, I'm gonna play old school and rep aces. We make it 4,800. Folds back to him, and he eventually folds. Got him. The very last hand before break. Raise it up to 1,200 middle position with Queen 10. Offsuit. Button calls, and the big blind calls are 3 ways to a flop. Flop comes Queen, 3 deuce, 2 hearts. We don't have a heart. Checks to me, I bet 1,800. Guy on the button with 60,000 snap jams. Snap! Big blind goes into the tank. That means they either have a flush draw or a queen. So that reduces the amount of queens my opponent can have. Does that mean that my opponent's repping a set or a flush draw? Thank you. Big blind eventually folds and action's back to us. Maybe 17,000 to call. Last hand, we can just gamble and call it off. Queen 10 kicker. But just the speed of the all-in, just not really a bluff that much. Live reads. I'm hoping he has a flush draw. Even then, if he has an over, we're flipping. So I eventually put in the fold. He says, I'll show you one, and shows the top card, which is a 3. Since he didn't look at his card, odds are much more likely that he had pocket 3s. Probably doesn't fold, probably doesn't call deuce 3 pre, and I don't think he's just randomly ripping it with 3-4 or ace 3. So good fold for us. With blinds at 300, 600, action folds the same ace 8 of clubs guy in the small blind, and he quickly makes it 2,300. He seems excited. Previously, my timing tell on him is long thought, weak hand. So this means he has a strong hand. I look down at king 10 off. Could fold. Be a real big live pro laydown, but I think we got to see a flop in position. Got to build a stack in this rebuy period. Flop comes 10, 5, 5, 2 diamonds, 1 heart. Looks good to us. And then in under 5 seconds, there's a bet of 7,300 facing us. We have 20,000 behind. What do you do? Now, of course, the GTO play would be to call or shove all in. But based on my live reads, I'm going to make a very, very exploitable fold. I know what you're thinking, Boski. Are you broke? Why are you even playing if you flop top pair, second nut kicker, and you're folding blind versus blind? Well, sometimes you just got to think outside the box. And to add insult to injury, we fold face up. He shakes his head and shows us pocket queens. Dodged a bullet. We're on our A game, and we're on first break with about 17,000 plus the 7,500 add-on. It's like 25,000, and we're in for $530. The second hand back from break. Blinds are 400, 800. Under the gun +1 limps, the same guy that snap jammed the 3X. I limp the button with queen jack of diamonds. The blind's complete. Flop comes queen 9 deuce, 2 hearts. Checks to under the gun +1 who puts in a 2K bet. Easy call. Blinds fold, heads up to the turn. Turns an offsuit 6, a brick. He now bets 5,000. Not too much to say here. I think if we're beat, it's probably by exactly pocket deuces. I think he's gonna raise pocket 9s, king queen, and ace queen pre-flop. So I think it's a lot more likely he has a flush draw or a straight draw. Maybe queen 10. So we put in the call. The river's an offsuit 4, a total brick, a nice clean run out, and he bets 15,000. We have 16,000 behind. I laugh a little bit on the outside, and sometimes you just got to go with your gut. A lot more missed draws than value here, although I wish I didn't have a jack because that blocks some of his straight draws, but we don't have a heart. So I put in the call. He shrugs and shows king queen. Max value, well played, and we now have 1,200 chips. We pick up ace jack of hearts, get it all in versus pocket 5s on the 8, 6, 5, 2 heart flop for our 1.5 blinds, and we brick out, and we're out of the Wynn $230 Saturday tournament. A total loss of $530 in 2 hours time. Still 4:30, we can beat rush hour and get back home to play some tournaments on America's Card Room and chase our losses. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay safe out there and enjoy life. It's too short to be miserable.